Today I am doing a light to moderate, I would say maybe more on the moderate side, workout for shoulders, core, and kind of handstand conditioning. And then the last round we'll do a little handstands. I've already done a partial warm up, but it is pretty chilly here. So I'm going to start with my normal kind of cardio warm up. And then I'm not going to do as much of my active range of motion as I usually do because I already did some of that. So we'll just do a little bit of that and actually some handstand warm-up exercises too. Let me angle you down here a little bit. Let me get some music on and we'll get started with the warm-up. Surya says, please see cardio workout. I don't know what you mean. Explain yourself. Okay. So a little warm-up song. I'll come back and check the chat to see if you can clarify what you meant by that. We'll start with this song. So just one song of movement. Oh, the stupid things in my face again. That's all right. So just starting with a little jog, and then I'm gonna do my jumping jack. We got the twist. So this workout I'm going to be doing some bicep and tricep exercises. So the next little warm-up exercise is the most important, butt kick. So this is going to kind of gently warm up my biceps and triceps. I do have an old bicep injury from doing aerial hoop. So I do like to make sure I warm those up a little bit and then stretch after. Otherwise it'll hurt. All right, back to the jog. This is a pretty short song. And then we'll go jumping jack, jumping jack. Yeah, it's a pretty short song. That's okay, we don't need much. I'm feeling pretty warmed up anyways. So I already warmed up my neck, shoulders, some of my back. So we're gonna go straight to legs. But I am getting a little warm now. Take off socks and sweats. Ugh. Okay, for legs, I'm gonna take my leg forward and back. So even though I'm not really doing much of anything with my legs today, I always warm up all my joints because even when you're stabilizing yourself, doing things, you could still hurt something if you haven't warmed it up. So doing about 10, trying to keep my body real straight, and then in a circle, just 5, other way. Yeah, not doing legs today, because I did my 4-mile walk run yesterday and I didn't know I was going to do the walk run until later. So in the morning I did 2 miles on my walking pad. I posted my story on IG, but I think it ended up being like 17 or 18,000 steps yesterday. So I'm going to go easy on the legs today. About 10 here. You know, I'm terrible at counting when I talk, so that's probably 10. And then I'm gonna circle, just a big wide circle with the knee. And then the other way. Let's pull down on static. Oops. And then a few little squats here, just to stretch my inner thighs out a little bit. Kind of more of an active stretch, especially after all that walking and running yesterday. My legs actually feel pretty good, but my feet were hurting a little bit yesterday after all that. They feel okay now though. It was a lot lot though. All right, now I'm just gonna hold the bottom, try to tuck my pelvis under, push my knees back, stretch out my inner thighs just a little bit. I like to wiggle around. And I'll just take it over to one side, point and flex my foot. Stretch my feet out. I also need to do a whole hand and foot stretching video because that's another body part that I feel like most people do not pay attention to very much, is your feet and your hands. So about 5 to 10 little point and flex here with the foot. I am going to do some plank slides, so it is a little helpful to have my feet warmed up for that. Alright, and then up. I'm going to do my little granny stretch I like to do with my hips. Just feels good. Alright, so if you are doing this workout with me, I would suggest going back and doing the active range of motion with your neck, shoulders before you start. But I am going to do a little, like I said, handstand warm up here. Let's check the chat. Hello to MN. And MN is asking if I like yoga. So I've been doing yoga for, I don't even know how many years. I did a yoga teacher training many years ago. So yes, I definitely like yoga and do it not as often as I should. I do a lot of things, so it's kind of hard to do everything. But I do enjoy yoga. I like going to yoga classes, but I'm also very particular because I am a yoga instructor and been doing it for so long on how I do it. So I would rather do it at home. So I do yoga at home by myself, and I'll be posting a couple yoga videos here. Once I get around to adding some voice onto them, I'm getting hot. Okay, so now handstand warm up. First handstand warm up exercise I like to do is just like a wrist circle. So my hands are down here, and I'm just going to circle kind of gently. You can start with smaller circles and then build up to bigger ones. I usually do about 10 each direction. Sometimes I feel this in my elbow a little bit too, maybe because of the bicep issue. I'm not going to do my full handstand warm up right now, but I'm just going to at least do a few because we are going to do a handstand in the last round. So my workouts are usually 15 minutes, 5 exercises, 3 rounds, 50 seconds on, 10 seconds in between. So most of the time it's the same exercise for all 3 rounds, but sometimes I like to switch it up a little bit. For this workout, I'm just going to let them relax a little bit. I'm going to be switching up the handstand exercise. So the first 2 sets are going to be handstand conditioning. First one's going to be a hollow back hold, and then the second round is going to be, oh yeah, where's my ball? I think it's over there. Like a roll up on the ball, I'll show you. And then the final round is going to be the actual handstand. Let's see, for handstands, I'm also going to stretch out my pecs a little bit. So I'm just going to hold it here for a few seconds. Like I said, I already warmed up my shoulders, so definitely make sure your shoulders are warmed up before you do this. Sometimes I'll bring the other hand back and I'll grab a strap to get a little extra stretch. And then I'm going to go the other side. Hold it just for 5 or 10 seconds. Alright, and then I'm going to come into a puppy pose for a little shoulder stretch before handstand. I don't have great shoulder flexibility, so I do a lot of shoulder flexibility training to help with my handstands. So arms come forward, I'm trying to make sure that my knees are in line with my hips, and then I'm dropping. My left shoulder feels a little tender today, so I'm not going to go down real far. There we go. Feels a little bit better now. So you can start with your forehead to the ground, and then as you go deeper, Try to get your chin to the ground. And then your chest. If your chest is on the ground, you can always come up on your hands and then bring that down further. And then you can come out and go back in. All right, that should do it as far as being warmed up for the handstands. So, biceps, triceps, we're gonna do a row today. So the equipment I'm using is I've got, I don't go crazy with my biceps. These are just 8 pounds that I'm gonna use for the bicep curls. I wish I did have something a little heavier. I've got these ones, but I'm too lazy to change out the plates, and they're not the same right now. So this one is what I'm gonna use for my row. I think this is a 2.5 pound plate, so that's 5. And I think this thing is about 5 or more pounds. So I think this is about 10 to 12 pounds, I'm not quite sure. But that's what I'm gonna use for my row. If that's too easy, I have another one with 4 more plates on it. So that would be 10 pounds extra on it. So we'll see how I'm feeling, but my shoulders have been kind of bugging me the last 2 days, so I'm gonna start with light weights. So another exercise we're gonna do is a plank slide. And for, oh yeah, I did wanna do, never mind, I wanna do the other thing. Scratch that. Not a plank slide. We're gonna do an ab roll up on the ball. So if you don't have a ball, then you can do the plank slide. And I'll show you how to do that. If you're gonna do the plank slide instead of the ball, you can have, if you're on something smooth like this, a towel, or I have these things which I don't really like. I actually prefer the towel. If you're on carpet, you could use a piece of cardboard to slide over, and I'll show you that as we get to that exercise. And then for triceps, I like to use my dip station, and I don't do my full weight. So I have this ball that I stand on top of. I'll move it over a little bit. If you don't have something like that, you can use a table or an ottoman or a chair and do your tricep push-ups that way. Okay, I think that's it. So yeah, for handstands, first round is a hollow back. Second round is a ball roll-up or plank slide. I'll show you those. Third round is going to be the handstands. I should probably move my stuff out of here so I can do my handstands. Okay, sip of water, and then I will start the timer. Hello to YY and T Fitness and something else. Okay, interval timer. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Let's see.
Activity completed.
Go away. All right, so it's gonna go ahead and start the ding. It takes me a second to get the music going, and then, actually, hold on, I can get the, I'll just turn the music up. All right, so here we go. First exercise is gonna be the bicep curl. 50-second, oh yeah, I like to put my thing so you can see it. There you go. So I'm just doing a regular bicep curl. I like to bend my knees slightly, and I don't extend my elbows all the way because I have a little hyperextensive. Squeeze all the way to the top. Like I said, these are pretty light, but I'm not trying to get too crazy. I do have an old bicep injury, so. – 15 more seconds. 4. And stop. Okay. Next up, we're going to do the hollow back. Shut up, Alexa. All right, hollow back. I'm going to be on my mat. Turn this down just hollow back on my knees. So I have a little bit of a back problem, so I like to kind of stretch it out there before I get my legs in position. And then my shoulder blades are up off the ground. I'm tucking my chin in and just holding for as long as I can, maybe about 20 seconds or so. If you're feeling pressure on your back, you can lift your legs up a little bit more, but you want to try to have them as low as you can. This is literally the position you're in when you're doing a handstand, so it's really good for conditioning for them. Okay, there's the timer. Next is, oh, you know what? Plank slides were in addition to handstands. I lied to you. So we are going to do a plank slide regardless. Sorry. So plank slide is next. I'm going to bundle up my thingy here. And here we go. So plank slide looks like this. You start in a plank, and then you're going to bring your knees in. It's hard to read my own handwriting sometimes. Squeeze it all in. Keep your bottom low. Good, there's the ding. Okay, so we're gonna do the hollow back, we do the plank slides. Now we're gonna do triceps. So I'm going over to my dip station on my ball. Here we go. Try to keep your shoulders away from your ears. Let's see if I can do a full one today. Oh, I can, but it hurts my shoulder. So we're not doing full weight today. Normally I do my fit test around the 1st of the month, which would be this week, but I'm feeling a little anemic, you could say. So we're gonna wait until next week, or maybe later in the week when I don't feel like death. This is kind of a lighter workout for me. All right, there's the ding. Next is the row. So, get this guy, maybe I'll pull over this random ottoman so that I can bend over and row. Yeah, I want this is not my bad side, so we're gonna use the heavier weight. Here we go. Back straight, pull it up. So I'm doing my right side this round, left side will be next round. All right, I don't know how to do this here. Now we're gonna move it out of the way a little bit. Slides around pretty easily. Okay, back to the beginning with the biceps. So this time, I think this one's a hammer curl when it's straight up and down. So we're gonna do this round. Can you check the chat? Is it Musal, if you're making inappropriate comments, you will be banned from my channel, just so you know. That sounds like maybe you're meaning something very inappropriate. I don't like it. Okay. Ryan's also making inappropriate comments, so you're both banned. I don't like that. I'm not even gonna read what it was. And don't pretend like it wasn't inappropriate, because it was. Okay, there's the ding. Next up is plank slides. We're gonna be over here. And in and out. control the movement in and out. Use your abs. Keep your bottom low. Little break. Okay, there's the ding. Okay, next up is the ab roll up handstand exercise. You can just do another set of plank slides if you don't have this. Otherwise, we're going to be in the same position, but this time you're pushing through your shoulders and lifting your hips up over your head and then controlling it down. Excellent for conditioning for handstands. Now these are very hard. I'm going to take a little break, especially because this came right after the plank slides. Okay, now we've got triceps. Next. Back to my dip station. You can be on a chair or something else. Good, a few more. Try to straighten up all the way. Feeling it. All right, there's the ding. Back to the beginning. No, just kidding, row. Row is next. And I'm on my left arm. I'm gonna start with the lightweight. This is my side that gives me problems, so I might stick with this. We'll see. I'm gonna do a few with the heavyweight. Probably go back to the lighter one. All right, back to the light one for me. Just trying to be extra careful with this side. This shoulder gives me problems. All right, there's the ding. Now back to the top, last round. Starting with the biceps. So this time we'll start straight and then swivel up. Let me check the chat here again. More seconds. Good, a few more. Even though this is lightweight, I am still feeling it. Squeeze at the top. Okay, last, look, ding. Okay, next up is the plank slide. Thingy. Not using this, so I'll move this out. Plank slide. Good, knees into the chest. And actually next round, I'm gonna go to the triceps before I do the handstand. Okay, so next up is triceps and then the handstand. So over here. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. Only put as much weight in your arms as you can tolerate. I'm gonna feel my triceps tomorrow, I think. Little break. All right, jump back in, 1 or 2 more. All right, there's the ding. Shake it out a little bit, and then I've got the handstand. Move this out of the way, and this. So I don't kick anything. All right. Just work on holding it for the whole time if possible. Trying to find balance. Going down. Ugh. 17 more seconds. See if I can get back up for just a few more seconds. Oh, fair enough. All right, last exercise is the row. A little bit of my thingy. So this time I'm going to switch halfway through using my big weight. Straight back. All right, I'm gonna go to the other side. Yeah. Probably about 10 reps. That's what I did on the other side. Last one. All right. And there's the ding. Okay. Let me check the chat before I stretch.
Activity completed.
Activity completed. I'm a little sweaty. Hello to Thata and Catherine. Hello. So that completes my shoulder, well, arm really, handstand and core exercise or workout. I'm gonna do a little stretch now. So since I worked my biceps, I'm gonna stretch them out. But again, I'm hyperextended in my elbows, so I always wanna make sure I'm not hyperextending. But this is my favorite way to stretch out my biceps. And you can start with a little bend and then work on straightening. Just don't wanna hyperextend. It's like the only part of my body that's hyperextensive. Everything else is stiff. And then I'm gonna do the other side. So wrist is facing away. I start bent and then I work on straightening but not hyperextending. It helps to look in a mirror because sometimes even when I think it's just straight, it is hyperextended. So sometimes that'll help. And then you can even do both. We're just gonna go down the line with all the muscles that I worked today. So next being triceps. Okay, that's good for biceps. Next is triceps. To do this, I like to bring my hand over my head and then work on really bending my elbow. And then you can even add shoulder and lats in there too. An even more effective way to stretch triceps for me is on the pole. I use it to push in and then I can really feel it. But you don't have to, you can just do it the way I was showing you. All right, and I'm gonna switch to the other side. I hold each stretch for about 5 deep breaths or so. Stretching the triceps right now. You can keep going with that stretch I just showed you where you're holding onto your elbow. But again, I like to use the pole to do my side stretch after the rows. This is one of the stretches we're gonna do, and we're gonna do another one for that muscle group too. And again, you can just be doing this holding your elbow and leaning to the side, like I showed you in the last stretch. And then slowly come out. We'll go to the other side. Let's get another song going here. All right, feet next to the pole, up and over, and lean away. Or like I mentioned, you can be holding on to your elbow. This just feels so good. All right, couple stretches for the rows. So now I'm gonna drop my arm down, and you don't need the pole for this, it just adds a little extra stretch, or you can use a wall. Hold above your elbow, try to keep that shoulder away from your ear, which is hard to do if you have a chest. So just do the best you can. And then I'm leaning into the pole to give me a little extra stretch there. About 5 deep breaths here. One more deep breath, and then we'll switch to the other side. So now the other side, so I'm holding below my elbow, I'm using the pole to help a little stretch here, and then leaning in, keeping that shoulder away from my ear. As much as I can without things getting in the way, as they often do. Well, I took some Advil this morning and I still have a headache, so that kind of sucks. All right, let me check the chat and then we'll go move on to a little bit more stretching. Okay, I speak a little Spanish, but I'm not fluent, and I don't know what you're saying because I think you're Brazilian. Okay, so for this next one, if you don't have a pole, you can just hold your hands like this. I like to use the pole, and then you're gonna round your upper back, tuck your chin in, press your palms together to stretch in between your shoulder blades. All right, a couple more shoulder stretches here. You can be on the ground in like a puppy pose for this one. I'm on the pole and I'm just gonna lean in and hold. So if you're doing this on the mat, you would be on your knees, hips above your knees, and then you're stretched forward, like I said, in a puppy pose like we did in the warm-up. Other side. Lean into that arm. One more deep breath. Okay. I'm going to drop down to the mat for a little ab stretch. So we're starting on all fours, and then you're gonna tuck your pelvis under and then drop your hips down. Shoulders stay away from your ears. Take some deep breaths. See if you can drop your hips a little bit more. Let those hips sink down. All right, and then we're gonna come out, tuck the pelvis in, squeeze your abs. And push back to a child's pose for a second. Maybe wiggle around because that feels good. And then we'll go into that stretch again. Feet come out, tuck your pelvis under, lower your hips down, keep your shoulders away from your ears, roll your shoulders back. Feet can come out into a straddle and hold it for a few deep breaths. If you want to get real crazy, you could add your feet. I'm not very flexible in my back, so it doesn't go very far, but hopefully you can go a little further. All right, and we're gonna come out of that, back to a child's pose, and wiggle it around. All right, and then we're gonna finish up with a neck and wrist stretch. So, circle your head. And then we're gonna end up in the middle here, hands behind your head, chin down, lift up, open your elbows, expand your chest, and then exhale, fold, gently pull down. And lift it up. One more, fold it. Good, rotate your head over to one side, gently pull down. Let me check the chat while I'm doing this. Hello to, ooh, Jessica's getting rude too. Again, if you're rude in my chat, I'm just gonna ban you from my channel. It's very rude, I don't like it. Hello to DG. A lot of rude people today. Is it a full moon? My goodness. You people must be so angry with your lives. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope it gets better for you. Hello to Aries, hello to Gary, and Blue. DG says, how are you, talented, my supreme goddess? Many years of hard work. Okay, neck, I think we did both sides. Wrists. Hello, Abdul and Aries. I'm just stretching a little bit after this workout I just did. And to answer that rude person's question that is no longer allowed to chat on my channel because they were rude, people come back and do the live workouts after I've done them. So that's why I'm doing the workout. And then people can leave comments when they've done the workout. Aries likes my legs, thank you for that. I did do lots of steps yesterday. I talked about it at the beginning, but I did like 2 miles on my walking pad and then a 4-mile walk run yesterday. It was a lot. I think it was like 17 or 18,000 steps, which is crazy. Okay, I think I've stretched everything out. So yes, I do go live once or twice a week on this channel to do workouts. You're always welcome to join me or go back and do the workouts after I've live streamed them. Let me know if you do them. And I appreciate you guys joining me, the people who were kind and had nice things to say. The rest of you can go fuck yourselves. Have a wonderful day. Bye.